we got to talk about the Vancouver Canucks.
We do.
This has been an absolute shit show to start the season. 0-5-2. They have not won a single game. They get outplayed pretty much every game. Thatcher Demko right now, minus 5.4 goals saved above expected. The only two starting goalies in the league with worse numbers right now in terms of goals saved above expected, Elvis Merzlikins and Marc-Andre Fleury.
What the fuck happened to Merzlikins? Remember everyone thought he was like the up-and-coming guy. This great personality, great name. But yeah, just the last 2 years, man.
Yeah, he has not been good over the last couple of years. Fleury isn't playing well. Your boy, Marc-Andre Fleury.
My boy. Everyone wanted him in Toronto, remember? Everybody wanted him. Yeah,
goodness.
Things are going very well.
Thatcher Demko. And I'll say, like, I was watching the Canucks game last night. Like, I didn't think Thatcher Demko was bad by any means. Like, I don't think he's been as bad as the numbers indicate. But, man, that Canucks defense core, like, it's a mess. Without Quinn Hughes, with Quinn Hughes injured right now, not in that lineup, that defense core looks like an abomination.
Ooh.
And I think that's the main issue with this team. I don't know how they can improve in that area. Like, what do you do at this point now, Lepore? Because the Canucks, like, I know, we talked earlier in the show about small sample size. It's still early in the season, but you can't dig yourself this big of a hole.
Yeah,
like, you haven't
100%.
won in 7 games.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to get to the point now, Lepore, where never mind, like, making the playoffs. Like, this team might consider going for Connor Bedard.
Yeah, 100%. Because at the end of the day, again, we talk about these numbers and how they don't really matter at the start of the season. So your record's not as important. But if it's this bad, yeah, like, your season can be over. Because let's face it, typically it's like 15, 16 games over 500 to make the playoffs. The Canucks have to be 20 games over 500 over the last, 74 games, 75 games. Like, that's a crazy record. Crazy record. And it's going to be rough for them, man. If I remember correctly, Bruno, we did our future show. We both picked them over, did we not?
We did, over 92.5 points.
Yeah, we thought the talent, they can score, the excitement of Miller, they got a goalie. Boudreau plays fast, exciting hockey. It's been bad, though, man. It's the old saying, you can't win the Stanley Cup in the first couple weeks of the season, but you can lose it. And I'm with you. I mean, what do? I think I say they ride it out. And I think the Canucks fan, and you know what's funny? I'm gonna humble brag here. So when the Canucks signed Mikheyev, I went on that tangent about how I thought it was like the weirdest fucking signing. And the best thing a GM can be is aware of his situation. And for the last while, Vancouver's kind of run in a way that it's like, well, what are they trying to do? Like, I don't want to say, they're not trying to win, but like they're kind of trying to win, but just trying to kind of trying to be that like average team who kind of gets into the playoffs with these signings. And I don't know, like the direction of the Canucks is weird. So sometimes you need something like this to slap you in the face hard. Because at least then, like, it's a slap to management. It's a slap to ownership. So I would ride it out. We talked about American Thanksgiving as kind of a cutoff. See where you are at that point. And the Canucks have talent. They have talent. So if they sell off some of this talent, they would get some nice return. So I don't think it would be a bad thing for them to go that direction. And if I'm being perfectly honest with myself, and Canucks fans, comment down below, or anyone comment down below with your opinion, I think most Canuck fans would accept that, would fully accept that. And to be fair, it's kind of like the Leafs under Burke, where we had some talent and they scored goals and like they were kind of fun to watch and they'd go on some winning streaks here and there. But you kind of knew, like, this team's not that good. Like deep, like, what are we trying to be, really? Like, we're just in that meaty part of the curve and we are what we are. And I think it's pretty similar to what the Canucks are now. So ride it out a little bit longer. Don't do anything drastic now, but see where you are and then make that decision. And tanking during a year for Connor Bedard is not a bad thing because you got a great head start. And that would turn things around in a hurry if they're able to land that top pick.
I think you nailed it, man. Like, the most frustrating thing about this Canucks team is how they're just kind of stuck in no man's land.
That's the word, no man's land. Exactly.
And it reminds me exactly of those Phil Kessel Leafs teams. Like, not terrible, not great, just sort of okay / good at times. And lingering around a playoff spot, but not nearly good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Now, when you look at this team on paper, we've said it plenty of times. They have a lot of talent. Elias Pettersson, Bo Horvat, Brock Besser, JT Miller, Thatcher Demko, who emerged over the last couple of years as one of the best goalies in the league. You know, a top 8 to 10 goalie in the league. Hasn't played like that to start the season. Quinn Hughes, one of the best young D-men in the league. But my goodness.
I said he was going to maybe get a Norris nomination at the beginning of the season.
I mean, the injury has derailed him right now, but man, could things have gotten off to a worse start? Like, this is a disaster. And I don't know what this team is going to do at this point. And we talked about the Mikheyev signing, and Canucks fans were attacking us saying, you guys are stupid. It was a great signing. He's going to score 30 goals. Like, what were they doing? Signing Ilya Mikheyev to a 4-year deal for $4.75 million. Like, why?
Why?
Like, even adding Ilya Mikheyev and, you know, some of the other things they did around the periphery, like, this team was never going to seriously compete for a Stanley Cup. We talked about it in our season preview. Their team point total was set at 92.5 points. We both had them hitting the over, but we were both kind of iffy as to whether they were actually going to make the playoffs or not. Right? And you know, another thing, Lepore, like, this Pacific division sucks as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's a bad division.
Yeah, and the morning after we got shit kicked by Vegas.
Like, I know. Okay, so you have Vegas, but and obviously you have Edmonton and Calgary. But this is not a great division. And to be 0-5-2 in this division, my goodness. Like, this is brutal. So I don't know what this team does, because they're stuck in no man's land. They might have to consider going for Connor Bedard. And even like comments from Jim Rutherford, president of the Vancouver Canucks, how before the season, like, no one in this organization was even bringing up the word rebuild. Okay. And then he was on After Hours with Scott Oak, I believe, and he brought up the term rebuild and said, like, we might have to consider a rebuild at this point. Like, you're 6-7 games into the season and your president is alluding to a rebuild. Like, this is wild, honestly. Like, I don't know what this team is going to do now, because, as you said, they're going to have to go on a crazy tear towards the end of the season to even sniff the playoffs at this point. Like, they're going to have to play it like, 108, 110 point pace the rest of the way just to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. If I'm a Canucks fan right now, I'm thinking long and hard about shipping out some of these veteran players. And I know they just signed JT Miller to a massive contract. JT Miller, man, he cashed in big time.
Yep.
7 years, $56 million. This is the And that extension, Lepore, does not kick in until next season.
Awesome.
That extension doesn't kick in until next season. So I don't know what this team is going to do. At this point, I would think long and hard about tanking for Connor Bedard.
Yeah, the Canucks are a reality show right now, is what they are, and that's never a good sign. And again, comparing to that Leafs team, the Kessel Leafs, they were a reality show. And there was that year too. I think it was the year they signed or traded for Kessel. They lost the first 7 games, if I'm not mistaken. So the season was over, kind of similar to this one in the way that, it's like the Leafs aren't going to go whatever it is, like 20 something games over 500 the rest of the way to get into the playoffs. So funny. We'll see how they react, because the Leafs didn't react the right way. They took too long to blow it up.
If you want some entertainment, just go on Twitter, type in Canucks, type in JT Miller, type in anything Canucks on Twitter.
Yeah,
and hopefully you'll have the time of your life just going through the comments.
Yeah,
I'm looking at some of the reactions from Canucks fans. I'm sorry, Canucks fans, but it's brutal. And listen, we've all been there, especially as Leaf fans. It could be some dark times, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this team is going to do, and we'll see if they go into full tank mode. I don't think they will, because they have a lot of talent, and they played really well under Bruce Boudreau last season when he took over as head coach. So I would like to think they're going to turn things around, but man, oh man, it is not looking good. Lepore, anything else you want to get off your chest before we wrap up this podcast?
There is something, and it touches on what you just said about the Canucks and their fans. And this is not directed at all their fans, just that select few who did something like this. Throwing your jersey on the ice Fuck right off. Nobody cares. Like, oh, you got your attention. You threw a jersey on the ice. Like, it's and whenever it's whenever there's a recording of it, it's always some goof laughing and his buddies are just filming him. It's not that real diehard fan who's just fed up. Like, to me, it's just embarrassing for the person to throw your jersey on the ice. Like, oh, I've had enough. Like, give me a break. You want to show that you're pissed off. Stop going to games. Stop buying merch. That's the kick in the teeth to the team. Like, throwing your jersey on the ice, and 90% of the time, I'm gonna say it, they're fucking counterfeit jerseys. So you're not even. Someone's like, people are always like, oh, throwing $200 on the ice. No, people throwing like $20 on the ice. It's a made in China counterfeit jersey. So it's a terrible look. It doesn't help anything. Something I'll always say about different situations is, what was the benefit of that? What was the good that came out of that? Ooh, you sent a message to the organization that the fan base has had enough because you paid your whatever you paid to go to the game and you threw your jersey on the ice. Nobody fucking cares. So, like, I mean, people listening, and comment down below if you think people should throw jerseys on the ice. Again, you're entitled to do whatever the hell you want, but to me, it's always a bad look, and I'm always embarrassed for the people who do it. Like, they're just seeking attention, and I think it's totally lame.
I love it, Lepore. I love it, man. If you are seriously going out there and spending $200-$300 on a jersey and throwing it on the ice, you're an idiot. And like you said, Lepore, a lot of the times it's probably fake jerseys that are being thrown on the ice, but there's a lot more productive things you could do to show the organization that you don't care than throwing your $200-$300 jersey on the ice.
Like, what, we throw waffles? It was waffles that time. Was that it? We threw waffles on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of shit you can throw on the ice. Just please don't throw your $250 jersey on the ice. Like, no one cares.
Nobody
like you
cares.
said before, you're just trying to get attention. Your friend is there filming you. You want to somehow get on Sports Center. Like, I don't know. You want to go viral on social media. Like, just stop.
Sorry, do you see the one last night at the Penguins-Oilers game? A Penguins fan in Edmonton threw his jersey on the ice, and then Draisaitl just picked it up and threw it back over. I was kind of like, what does that even mean? Like, you're like first place and you're in Edmonton when you're throwing your jersey on the ice. It was just a weird, and again, it's an attention grab.
It's bizarre, man. It's all for the attention. It's all for Instagram and TikTok.
Exactly.
It's all about the attention.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, if you really want to show the team that you're pissed off, it's like you said, man, just don't show up. Stop buying tickets.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Like Leafs fans, like Leafs fans do. We stop buying tickets, right?
Oh God. Yeah, let's not even get started about that.
That's a whole
selling
other
out the
podcast.
building every night, every year, no matter what.
Yeah, $250 for a nosebleed. Awesome.
Leaf fans are paying $250, $300 for a nosebleed seats when this team is like dead last in the NHL.
Dog shit. Fuck, man. We finished on negative, Bruno. Let's get out of here.